If I'd had to ask you straight up, Dean, which team would you preferentiate in terms of winning here?
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with ILLUMINAR. They for me, have been the more impressive team, but I don't think it's anywhere near clear cut. I do think that it's going to be a very competitive one, and I do think AVEZ are going to be able to show up as well, and are probably looking to try and redeem themselves after, of course, dropping that best of 3 to the Hard Legion boys yesterday over in the 9-5 Cup. So we'll see. We're going to be getting in real soon, of course, after the knife round has gone down, and I believe it went the way of ILLUMINAR.
Yes, it did. ILLUMINAR had the lucky draw there to be winning it, and they'll be the ones to be starting on the CT side. And as you said, quite eager to see how this one goes down, how it actually spins. I wouldn't put it past AVEZ to be able to win ILLUMINAR, but I definitely am favoring ILLUMINAR in general, just because, you know, we've seen them play. At least we've had the chance to cast them a little bit throughout the last few weeks, and they certainly felt better. In any case, before we jump into the game itself, we can see the odds at LootBet are going to be favoring, of course, in this case, ILLUMINAR in terms of how good of an odds they have. But
I'd say it kind of reflects what we said. It's not like people are counting out AVEZ in the bet sider.
Exactly. It's like AVEZ still can win this, obviously, and might even win it, but let's find out first how the pistol spins.
Yeah, probably going to be a pretty quick one as well. One player just charging over towards B. I think the goal there for K really was to just try and make it seem like they were either split up for a standard default or that he was just one man trying to make noise, and then the rest of them were going to be ready to follow up. Unfortunately, he gets instantly taken down, and with that, ILLUMINAR can now afford to play a little bit more passively. They can send Mouse towards the back of the bomb site. They have a player in True Connector already who's going to be there to help as well. And if they can even just snatch one more kill then to set themselves up for this retake, because they do have a kit and a smoke, then they will be feeling fantastic. So we'll see for AVEZ now, getting ready to move forward. A deep molly towards Connector, that certainly could help out, but unfortunately, just too many players to deal with. Veggie, he is going to go ahead and eat up everyone as they come out at a ramp, and Innocent Den, he's the one to finish it off. A single kill from Bayali was all that was allowed right there. There was actually 2 overall, but of course, in terms of the actual trades on towards the bomb site, that was all they were able to achieve. ILLUMINAR, they kick things off with a swift pistol round and are likely to continue in that direction until the following round now, when AVEZ will actually be able to get guns out. This one is, as you can see, pretty much just a full eco. A Zeus on the T side is something you see very, very rarely.
Do you want to gamble where he's going to go? I'd say
probably Pop Dog, yeah.
Yeah, like that's the most logical of decisions in this case, or at least...
Fight Ivy with it, why not?
I imagine going Ivy with the Zeus. I'd be laughing, crying at the same time. But yeah, Pop definitely. K trying to get himself a bit of a cheeky kill, if in case ILLUMINAR would be feeling frisky and trying to get deep control. What I love about ILLUMINAR here, they're playing very safe. We can see the line of defense they've drawn on the minimap, or in a way, in retrospect on the minimap, with having, of course, a bit of presence towards Ivy, with Rallen potentially pushing over that smoke. 2 players on B likewise, holding pretty tight angles. And AVEZ, they did not force up completely. This is just a few deagles, a few pistols, and whatnots. And it is going to be an attempt towards the A side. Bialy, first to peek with the deagle, fails. The second player picks it up. And let's see, keep it up and keep on going. So far, so good.
Ooh. Yeah, getting aggressive across the map. And understandably, how the hell did Rallen get behind? Did he walk around your Ivy? It must have been. Gets himself the knife kill. So yeah, I mean, that's probably as well as it could have gone for ILLUMINAR, taking the round extremely cleanly, been able to get some SMG frags in there, and of course then a knife in the end as well to add to the bank of Rallen. Although they are going to keep a lot of these weaker weapons, as you would expect, into this first gun round. So it gives that good chance. It gives an opportunity for AVEZ at least to have a favourable position coming into the opening gun round. But obviously, it puts a good bit of pressure, especially on towards AVEZ with the money that ILLUMINAR have built up, because ILLUMINAR would be able to repurchase in the following on towards pretty much all of their players. They'd be lacking a little bit on Veggie and Snacks, but overall they can maybe take a few more risks here with those weaker weapons in play. So we'll see what exactly happens, because AVEZ, they've decided to go very aggressive, at least with 1 player initially out towards A here. The smokes are down at least, so It gave him some room to move forward, and at this point is now pushed up towards the green train. He could maybe work around Ivy even, but he needs to be careful because, of course, ILLUMINAR, they are being cautious of this. They know it's possible someone could have creeped out, and they're setting themselves up, I believe, to try and reclaim it. Indeed, Innocent wrapping around. They had him trapped in, but aren't really able to do anything with it. Eventually getting the finish, and I was gonna say not really letting too much be done for AVEZ, but it did give them room to move forward on Ivy, as you've seen. So it put quite a bit of pressure onto the shoulders of Veggie, but he steps up when he's needed, and as you see, Snacks coming in on the rotation, he is there to pretty much at that point end the round. It was only Marcos then left alone, and they knew where he was over towards Ivy.
That was that was pretty damn well played out by ILLUMINAR. The way they handled Kyler, it initially looked like they had all the answers already at hand, but then letting him pass over back towards Sandwich kind of raised a bit of concern. Able to snuff him out immediately, though, soon after. It gave them that control of pool that they much needed, and they then were able to focus towards main and Ivy itself, and all of a sudden, AVEZ, they lose the gun round. They're back to their pistols and Kevlar. There will be a little bit of utility available as well. 3 smokes more precisely, and it might give them a way back in, as Mouse has signaled, or at least given a bit of info to AVEZ that there's a bit of a presence being built by towards B. And overall, seems to go a little bit slower than expected. ILLUMINAR, what's their decision here is a better question, perhaps. How are they going to work this round out, or how they're going to respond to the aggression that is about to come? Deep smoke into back 6. There should be another smoke landing on top of site somewhere. Never mind. 2 smokes were thrown on B. Kind of fake out. Didn't really work, though, because the rotations are already back on towards A.
Yeah, I mean, what, I pulled Innocent back to the connector, but considering they're up against just pistols, he's not too worried about that. He can peek back in, he can help his teammate who was playing around the bomb site and just pick them all off as they come out of Pop Dog, and that's exactly how it went down. Another clean round coming through from ILLUMINAR, and I guess definitely kicking things off the way people would expect in general. We said there's always the chance for AVEZ to come in, but they're not having the greatest of starts here. They do need to try and get onto the board early on. As the underdogs, if they just let ILLUMINAR keep on building up this early lead, then my kind of hope, my positivity that they'd be able to make this a competitive game will very quickly be running away. Oh, again, similar play to what we've seen in that previous gun round, where I believe it was Kylar the previous time that ran out. This one, it's Navra who runs out and ends up just getting mollied, and then also spammed through the smoke by Snacks. As you said, Snacks, because that molly, it was the perfect counter. It forced the player forward into where he was spamming, and with that has given ILLUMINAR an opening advantage here into the second gun round, with so much damage as well just being done onto Marcos and Bayali.
Quite concerning amount indeed, and what I love about ILLUMINAR's positioning and play here is the way they also approach upper brown holes, where they went for the deep smoke upper, if you know, where you kind of block yourself off a little bit to try and prevent vision into lower ramp. And then the CTs have an option, either playing it passively, as we're seeing them here, or actually taking the initiative, jumping onto the railing in upper brown holes and taking a sneak peek in towards upper hallways of toilets and such against the T's. But in this instance, ILLUMINAR, the only reason why they pulled back is because Snacks was able to catch Navrot, as we said, and with that in mind, they do not have any reason to search forward for any further frags, although Innocent this time around not ready for the lurk out through all of Marcos. An important frag in this case, though Veggie seems to be on his tail already, and that op is a valuable weapon that cannot be easily regained. Kyler and K, they're pushing B though, and they do not have any problems getting the bomb down as well. 3v2, all of a sudden AVEZ. It looked grim, but they're back on the saddle.
Yeah, actually doing a really good job at recovering this round. You said ILLUMINAR, they weren't going to be trying to hunt any kills, but unfortunately it was AVEZ who are on the T side, and they're the ones who have to make the play, and by the time they did, they end up finding those successful entries. And obviously having a player around that A side of the map being able to kind of keep them in position for a little bit longer is just delayed that retake by such a massive amount. I was going to say it's still fairly achievable, but once Veggie is left alone, it wasn't anymore. Just with the damage that had been done, I was still thinking that perhaps a couple over peaks from AVEZ could have cost them it, but they played it relatively safe. They've been able to come out on top of it with 2 surviving. I was going to say 3. Three is the position you want to be in, just to ensure that they can obviously rebuy up all their AKs and such here into this round, but they are not really going to be too worried about the fact that they lost one more during the end. They knew obviously if they could take the weapon off Veggie, it could have impacted the buy into this round for ILLUMINAR. It hasn't really though, and I think even without the op, they would have had enough there for Rallen, of course, to be at least dropped over an M4 from to at least be dropped over an M4 instead of the op there from Veggie. So they've got everything. They've got the double op setup, and ILLUMINAR, they'll look to try and bounce back as quick as they can. But we'll see, because AVEZ, I mean, that previous run relied on them being able to step up after, of course, being put into a very difficult spot already. They relied on the individual prowess, and I don't know if that's something, of course, that you can rely on every single round. They need to be a little bit more cautious with that early round approach, especially as K peeks out towards that A bomb site. Gets one at least. I mean, that's a fairly worthwhile trade, I would say, especially since it's Veggie that he took out.
Exactly so, since he's able to snuff out Veggie early on, who's been on fire throughout the entirety of this first 5-6 rounds. I mean, he's got 10 frags to the name already. Though it does not feel like they have a massive advantage, does it? I mean, there's still two ops in place, Snacks and Rallen to be wielding those, and Bjarni's coming out of main. Not sure if he's going to be spotted, though. Fairly certain he's not going to be spotted, and there's nobody on A anymore. I mean, backlines, it is going to be the one and only Rallen, but he's out of position to really know about this. Oh, Innocent! He loses the duel. That's a pertinent part of the map that could have been very much detrimental to the effect, well, to the defense of ILLUMINAR, and indeed, luckily, it is at least Rallen to reply still. On the other hand, B is being lost. I mean, ILLUMINAR are being played like a fiddle right now, and they are not responding whatsoever. The B site, here comes the plant, and now the retake. Does it even happen? There's two ops to go for it. I mean, we both know how difficult this will be for ILLUMINAR.
Yeah, I would imagine extremely so. If they don't get the kill instantly, then they really need to back away. And the issue is now that Kylar has creeped in towards the spawn, which they do seem to have a bit of a read on. At least Snacks is being cautious, as you can see, spotting for it. And I think Mouse is about to find himself pretty much a free kill on the bomb site. If he gets the second, then the round is done. But thankfully, for the sake of AVEZ, the trade does come in from Navra. He's still being hunted down, but there's just no time, I don't believe. Oh, Snacks might just have it indeed, yeah. I was a little bit afraid. I didn't notice he actually had the kit, but it is so close. There it is. Thankfully, Snacks wasn't stream sniping. He didn't listen to me saying he had no time. Don't mind what I said. Nah,
oh, man. Imagine that.
Yeah, thankfully, they don't have to take any inputs from us, because I said he had no time. I lied.
Well, I mean, you weren't completely wrong. If he had moved one half an inch to the wrong side and not be on the bomb when he was, that would have been out of time for him. He had less than half a second almost, and close call, but he gets it. ILLUMINAR saved by the bell in that case, and it is going to be back onto a full buy for AVEZ. The plant gives them that chance. We're gonna see a bit of pressure being made towards Pop. I presume they're going to try and take control of it by force, or so far Veggie's being sprayed hard. Innocent, though, holding the line. They know somebody's there. Innocent going to be traded out. If Snacks to reply, still not enough in this instance. Rallen comes in close. Rallen double. What in the world just happened? How does Rallen get two there?
I'm going to rename him Raylan, because he was just railing people there.
I mean, it would be,
yeah, I don't know how he was even able to live in that position, let alone get as many frags as he did. As you can see, guys, at the top of your screen, head on over to Hellcase and use code MALTA-V15 if you want to get, I believe, what was it? Can we get it up again?
15%?
15%, yeah. I forgot what exactly it was. Is the...
extra bonus on
extra
deposit?
bonus, yeah. 15%
yeah.
refill bonus, that's what it was, yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I forgot how to phrase it exactly. Forgive me, Hellcase, for I've sinned.
I mean, you know, it's in the name, so you better not sin. But it is going to be a very, very swift open.
I don't like this approach considering what they have available. They have our rifle on Navrat and then a bunch of deagles. I would have preferred if they tried something together here, because they'd find some success when they push forward into the bomb site. It's early round when they're split up and they're trying to go for those picks that they seem to be faltering a little bit.
I absolutely have to agree. I'm disliking the way they're approaching when they have an available rifle to their inventory. It's like, come on, guys. Why are you going against ops when you know they're up? And instead of using your utility to kind of try and approach safely, you're literally challenging them and giving them the entries. In this case, AVEZ might be losing a little bit of self-control, but let's hold on to see if perhaps this gun round, the glass cannon of Marcos, might even make an impact and a change and a difference, as ILLUMINAR is slowly but surely taking the lead quite in a single-handed fashion, and so far
It's not incredibly shocking.
I mean, yeah, I think this comes in as a predictable outcome, with the difference being that I would have hoped for a bit of a better show from AVEZ.
Yeah, it's not over yet. They've still got time. It's 7-1, sure, but if they can manage to pull together a couple of rounds, at that point they could break down the money for ILLUMINAR and start actually building themselves back into this. Again, they are on the T side, so bring it up to even 5, and then it can be salvageable. But that really is, I would say, the minimum that they're aiming for, especially when they are outmatched in general, kind of, by their opposing team. At least that's what it seems to be for sure at the moment. I don't think there's too much dispute about how this is being going. But here we go. They're setting themselves up. They didn't allow for any kills either to be snatched away in the opening moments of the round. Instead, they do have everyone ready as they move forward. But as they continue to go in that direction, their numbers are starting to diminish. Innocent in the back of the bomb site comes in huge with a second kill, especially there to drop the bomb. And the only frag being returned so far was from K, and he's gone. He's like, okay, and now it's all on Marcos. Oh, okay. Actually, he hit the shot on Mouse as well. I think they're coming out of Pop Dog. Was a couple kills. It does a small bit of damage, but at this point, it's not enough because the money's already built up for ILLUMINAR, and obviously they're already sitting on 8-1. At least confirming their lead in the halftime, but of course a lot more probably to come for ILLUMINAR on the CT side if they keep up this pace.
This very much reminds me of yesterday's game between Gambit and Alternate Attacks, if you recall, on Train, where the half ended 6-9, but Alternate Attacks started, what, 8-0, 7-0, something like that, wasn't it? Or, no, actually, apologies, no, it was 4-1 for Gambit Youngsters to begin with, but then Alternate took it 9-4 or 8-4, only for then for Gambit Youngsters to be able to somehow swing it back 6-9 to end the half with. So, you know, 6 rounds, making it a bit more commendable, a bit more acceptable. Here, why it reminds me of that is because the dominant performance out of ILLUMINAR we are seeing not only comes from their quality, but comes from the fact that AVEZ is giving them, at least in a few certain rounds, in a few certain moments, that chance. They're literally playing into their hands, and so far it's working out like a charm. Double up is yet to be countered at, and oof, Innocent again, entry secured, second Rallen taking down Kyler, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Look at the way they move around, taking positions, very split, very non-cohesive, how to say, divided, basically, you know, and it's really giving ILLUMINAR just an extra bonfire, like extra elements to the fire, if I can put it like that. Just
it's making it that bit easier for them that it just doesn't need to be. Let's be real, because they're already hitting their shots. They're already looking good. As we said, they're probably the favorites coming into this matchup either way. And for AVEZ to be given these opportunities where they're never really able to get the trade, at least not instantly, it's always given a bit of time for ILLUMINAR to compose themselves and be ready for whatever follow-up peak comes in. So we need to see them being a little bit more cohesive on the chemistry, but we'll see if that's going to be possible, because at least a good trade is found there towards Pop Dog. The issue is Marcos, he was already dropped to 5 health, but he's still willing to take the fight. And then K coming out on main, going up the ladder, spots out Innocent. So this is looking to be probably another round in favor of AVEZ. And 2 players had pushed up through B, but obviously they had already been spotted, or at least one of them has. So I think they're deciding to wrap Mouse back around and see if he's going to be able to perhaps come in from connector, or even the spawn. But it can't take too long. The bomb has now been planted, and I think he can take as long as he wants now at this point. It's probably the save, if we're being honest, considering he's the one who's sitting with by far the least money on his team. Sure, it's the 1-on-3. If he could get even one more kill, they could impact the buy for AVEZ in the following round. So maybe he could justify doing that. But his actual chances of winning the round at this point should be pretty much 0.
Exactly so. It should be 0. I mean, doesn't even have any business trying to attempt this retake. An extra frag to add on top of the tally would definitely help, and again, limit AVEZ even further. But in this case, you know, there is a little bit of economy to be caring for them, or to be cared for on their own, yeah, I guess, in a way. And in this instance, double up will be reinvested into. Not sure I completely, utterly agree with the double up setup. We've seen it before, Rallen and Snacks continuously playing for that. And it's not the worst of ideas we're seeing from ILLUMINAR, but point in hand is we had seen this backfire against them, and against Wizards, they had a few issues, if you recall, on Train when we casted last week. Or actually, I'm not sure.
I don't think I was in that one.
Oh, it was me and Zesht, I apologize, yeah. But basically, ILLUMINAR were struggling on Train. They won the half 8-7 on their T side, and then CT side was a bit more hectic, finishing it with 16-13 in the end, sure. But again, double up was definitely not giving them too much of a chance.
I would say that scares me even more then, if ILLUMINAR are doing so good on the CT side this time, and they didn't in that matchup against Wizards where they had such a good T side. An opening kill again goes in favor of ILLUMINAR as well. It is Innocent. He's been having a pretty good game so far. I think one thing, especially with these double ups, with how AVEZ has been playing, which has been kind of taking these somewhat individual peaks, they're always just a tiny bit too far away from each other to follow up. I think that's kind of the ideal situation for this double up setup.
Really is, yeah. And
this is going to be a crazy one. So patient from both sides, but the timing, oh, Rallen, he heard the footstep, thankfully. But as the smoke goes down now, this could be awkward because the Wrap can come in towards A. Veggie's going to have to drop his smoke and hope with that at least that he can maybe delay them for a moment.
Surely he will be. There will be rotations coming in through connector additionally on top of things, and ILLUMINAR, they seem to be well aware of what's going their way. There's the wrap around. Veggie comes in from the side as Rallen is actually lurking through a smoke angle towards Ivy itself. Here we go. He pumps in the full nozzle, and it's going to be enough as, well, seemingly in a matter of seconds, AVEZ are literally stripped away from their chances. 10-2. And the idea was good. The execution, though, not the best. Certainly a little bit up and down, and well, we are back to a concerning amount of rounds already being gathered for ILLUMINAR. AVEZ, they better start making a bit of a different impact soon enough, or they are not in for a very comfortable ending of this map, and that much we can say with certainty.
I think it was, what, maybe 6-1 when we said that really AVEZ were aiming for at least 5 rounds here on their T side. Normally 5, you're like, okay, it's salvageable if you get the pistol round as well, but when you're outmatched as you are right now, it seems, then you definitely want to be getting as many as possible, and sadly 5 is the limit for them at the moment. So we'll see how this goes. Decent nade in towards upper right there, although the opening kill still elsewhere does go in favor of AVEZ. Navra able to drop down in the pop dog with that Mac 10, and with that I believe give them an extra weapon now to work with as well. Oh, did they try and reapproach in towards Pop Dog? Which is one.
Well, they have reapproached. They have found the refrag. There's a hold. Snacks finds K as Kyler is able to snap out of reality. Mouse, though, still Snacks deploys another shot and makes sure that AVEZ will be feeling the full wrath of that. Kyler, close range, actually snaps the head off Rallen. And a lucky man that Bialy is able to then finish Snacks right after. As you were saying, 10-5, I mean, it's the best they can muster up, and it's certainly in this condition, in this position, it would be the best case scenario for them.
That was weird. They dropped Marcos down Pop Dog just before they went out B. I guess in an attempt to get a little bit of a fake and maybe thinking it was clear because they had just got a kill around that area, but I believe they had it before, so if they wanted to keep someone there, it would have made sense to at least have a second person initially go down with them and then at that point back away. But they still got the round. They were able to at least successfully trade out on towards B and then of course win out the 2-on-3 in a very convincing fashion. But again, early on they end up losing the player without really being able to do too much about it. The op trying to return. Innocent has at least been tagged up a little bit, but at this point I think they kind of have to concede that as the peaks are not really working in favor of AVEZ, and if they keep on going for it, they could be in a bit of trouble, or at least the upper could have been. Look at the timing on the jump through the nade. It is very impactful considering Veggie's up close with this M4. He tagged 3 of those players down to roughly half health.
He's certainly pulling on a few strings, isn't he? And Veggie, well, he's going to hold the line even further as he gets the second K going through that smoke, but predicted by Veggie as he turns away from the flash. Another one. Veggie keeps on piling the body count, and this time Marcos left alone again. Wouldn't be the first time we're seeing him in a position like this. Unfortunately, it will be one of the last, and AVEZ, they get around, but a round after is a disaster, and it might have been even better to not win that one. Although, I mean, we say that in reality, it's better that they at least win one and then lose continuously moving forward than having to work with nothing whatsoever. Still, this is pretty disastrous. 11-3. I don't know, AVEZ, they seem a little bit lost in their heads. They don't seem to have an answer to the defense, nor even the offense being as well coordinated as it should be. And we can see upper brown hall's control being contested for. There will be an op peeking out. That's Snacks. There is a challenge to be presented, but Snacks is faster than Marcos. That's a wrap. Last round of the first half seemingly coming to a quick close.
Very likely. Innocent was able to find the kill elsewhere as well. I think it's the op traded over so he can chill in the back lines with the AWP on low health and still probably have some impact. But yeah, I mean, I think a nade was thrown in there towards upper B, made it a little bit harder perhaps for any vision to be found, but a great opening pick from Snacks. That double up setup has certainly been paying dividends for them, and I mean, it's usually fair to judge it, especially on the CT side. It makes those retakes fairly complicated and is also a very hefty investment, but if it's working, then damn is it working. But here we go. We've seen already AVEZ recover a couple situations where they were looking pretty dire, so we can't count them out. And yeah, Navra, he's been hitting shots on that AWP. If he can keep that up, then it certainly is possible. Innocent, though, as I had said, it initially just falling back towards those back lines, being on low health. He connects the shot on Kylar, and I think at this point probably doesn't want to keep on facing just because he is so low. But that doesn't really seem to matter to him. He ends up actually dropping the bomb now out in the open. That is heartbreaking. If they manage to even lose one more player and trying to retrieve that, then they're screwed. They need to get it without anything happening to them, and that's just not going to be allowed. I was about to say maybe even the final kill was to come in for Innocent. Eventually they've been able to shut him down, but considering he was 15 health that entire time, you've got to be feeling a little bit upset about how that went. And yeah, probably at this point they are 12-3 for ILLUMINAR, trying to catch us up a little bit for that delay, of course, that we had with the first game.
Yeah, trying to catch the time we've lost and wasted away. Obviously, not much we could have done there, folks. That's just the way it is. That's how the cookie crumbles. But this is 21 frags for Innocent. 12-3, and he's got 21 frags, and 19 for, in that case, Veggie. There is not much else we can add besides the point this is a complete and utter dismantling of AVEZ. A best of one that is going exactly the opposite of what they hoped, probably. But in a way, we kind of insinuated it, and I gotta be honest, those loot bet odds kind of look juicy for ILLUMINAR, a bit too much even. It's like, you know, they had the advantage. But in any case, you can see that the odds have changed now, and as per pistol, they might change even further. Currently, though, it's starting off pretty well. Navrot able to snap the head of Innocent, and the rotation towards B has already come over as ILLUMINAR have decided to snap back towards Pop itself, and they're going to be going in one by one. Now ILLUMINAR making the critical error of going in solo, basically. As Snacks is now in a 1-on-5. Excuse me, a 1-on-4. Doesn't matter, though. As that's the pistol to AVEZ.
Very much needed one as well. So we'll see now how they're able to start building back into this off the back of it, and they should be able to get the 5th round quite easily. Likely a full eco to come in. I'm not imagining even pistols to be upgraded really over on the side of ILLUMINAR. Unless they want to fully invest, that is. Obviously, it would have been an option, but it seems like having such a massive lead, they're like, yeah, guys, nah, we really don't need to force the issue. We can just apparently buy a Zeus or so, and then see if we can get a kill or two. And then just focus on getting the rifles out into the following round and stopping AVEZ before we can really let too many rounds at all be built up for them. So we'll see what they're able to achieve. As I said, the Zeus comes out. Very interesting choice. I mean, it can be difficult enough to use on the CT side, kind of limited to like Pop Dog, close Ivy, and up close on the B ramp. So on the T side, you're even more limited. I would say normally just around Pop Dog is where you're going to find success, unless you're holding somewhere a little bit jammy and just waiting for the aggression to come in. And speaking of aggression, it is coming true for AVEZ. They are not letting the kind of poor score of the first half affect their confidence. They want to go forward and I guess impose their will here while they have the opportunity to do so, being so favored in weaponry. And it wasn't too bad for Marcos. He gets a couple of kills on the MP9 before going down, even done some damage, which does end up being quite useful when the nade comes in from Navrot. And he's there to finish it as well. Veggie, he is screwed, just pinned in the corner. K even getting a little bit of money for himself as he was the one that ended it. But there we go. 5 for AVEZ. Overall, though, 1 kill coming in, considering ILLUMINAR only spent $200 on a Zeus. They're not really going to be too worried.
Nah, they're obviously not going to be too concerned about that. And as we can see, AVEZ, like, they need to be a bit more aggressive, if you ask me, to try and rebuild their confidence, right? Especially in rounds where they know they're not up against AKs and such, where they can take control and feel a little bit better about the whole situation. Though, this is one of their big tests, to see if they can pass it, to see if they are going to be worthy of getting past 5 points. 5 rounds, more specifically. We all know how it can work. We all know how it can go. And in this instance, we'll find out.
This approach is very different from ILLUMINAR right now. They're being much more passive and aren't really showing the presence like what we were seeing from AVEZ in the beginning of pretty much every one of their T-side rounds.
They realize they don't want to risk it all, right? They don't want to throw a chance away here.
I think they also realize the weapons are just so heavily in their favor. Oh.
That's also, yeah, another good point, I guess we can also make, yeah. Though they will lose the first player. Navrot able to snap away Nax. But in this instance still, it's a 4-on-4 with 4 AKs. There's an op on Marcos, so that kind of makes up for like 2 rifles at least, right? If he can hit the shots, of course.
I think that's how the maths works, yeah.
that can definitely help. But ouch, that's gonna hurt Yali. He needed to survive a little while longer as the smoke deploys in connector. There's Navrot and Ivy, and they know he was there. They know he got the frag on Snack, so the awareness should be coming out. And the Molotov as well helps out immensely as Innocent snaps on by. Marcos.
They need this.
Player in top train. Yeah, they desperately need this. They cannot afford to lose it at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only way they can afford to lose it is if both of these players right now go save. That's it. Kylark then could drop one over to Bayali, and you could see K and Navrot buy for themselves. So I think that may be the decision that they're forced to make, which is heartbreaking because they're in a 2-on-3 where a couple players have been tagged up, so they probably feel that they're so close within reach of actually having a chance of recovering this round. But the risk is just a little bit too high, considering if they lose those weapons, then they're ecoing in the next, and at that point the ILLUMINAR are already sitting on 14. So yeah, understandably they run away. Oh, but this is indeed, as I said, heartbreaking. It's the first gun round which was needed on top of that pistol in favor of AVEZ for them to really start building up a comeback that we could believe in. And I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble now. If they don't immediately bounce back with this gun round, then it is very likely over unless they're just willing to force buy, and perhaps they pull that off. Otherwise, though, it would probably just be the eco to try and play for an overtime, which would be such a difficult task. They are, of course, quite a bit behind at this point, so they need it now. Really, they can't afford to lose another round before they at least take 4 or 5 more themselves.
Oh, absolutely. The double up, as you mentioned, might be the answer to all their problems, though could be also the main cause of all their problems if not properly treated, not properly handled. And well, unfortunately for Marcos, he's gonna burn away. He tries to peek, I guess, through the Molotov as well a little bit as he's extinguishing it, but not fully. And then when he gets hit, the molly just burns him away to the end. And that risk did not pay off, not one bit. There's an op retrieval now on Mouse as well. The angle, though, gonna be favoring Navrot as Mouse feeling a bit too frisky to find a second. It will be ILLUMINAR that still respond with most likely a B hit, excuse me, an A hit behind all of this. A 4-on-4. 2-2 split by AVEZ, pretty standard. We do see that there's a quick rotation available for the A site, so that's at least there. And already Kyler making his way through connector to site itself. ILLUMINAR, as you mentioned though, playing it slow still. And Innocent, he's gonna clear this angle. Surely he's gonna clear this angle. Typical off angle that you have to fight against, and well, he does so exactly. Oh, Navrot. Sweet summer child. Does he turn? Oh,
Ooh.
he steps just enough. 2v1.
The bomb, though.
Impossible to win, though. Yeah, the bomb is kind of lost in this instance.
Yeah, they just need this kill. They should at least realize Bailey got out because they heard the Molotov ticking at his feet. So indeed, the read is had, and ILLUMINAR, they make it happen. What an eventful round. There was just aggression all over, and a few fights that could have really went either way. And if we had have seen one shift maybe in favor of AVEZ, it perhaps could have been their round. Instead, we lose the gun round that we said they very, very much needed. Now they're just going to be forcing straight in. They don't want to risk playing for an overtime. But the only issue is if they lose this round, then they're playing for an overtime anyway, but with just a similar bite to what they have right now available in the next. So it really is do or die at this point. 2 chances for AVEZ. They're going to be weak buys unless they can manage to pick up this first one. Oh, and the wallbang comes in. That's pretty useful. Was that the scout that managed to tag him down through 2 walls?
Yeah,
I'm so confused. How to do so much?
It was.
That must have been the headshot, surely. Bring him to 31 through both walls with a scout.
I mean,
because I think that's what you do with an op to the body, really, wouldn't it have been?
I was about to say, it's usually the op that does that much damage. Even then, the headshot from the scout could have been exactly that as well. But, well, what can I say besides that's a good start. AVEZ, they need every single bit of it they can get. They've put everything on the line here. And they know it, we know it. Rallen, ouch. As he snaps on K, they see the shadow as well. This is a dangerous noodle round, and yeah, this is horrendous right now for AVEZ. They have no reply, and they have no kits. A single FAMAS, a scout, and a deagle. It sounds like a bad bar joke because it is actually, and well, a lot of damage dealt on ILLUMINAR, by the way. That's a crazy amount of tags being handled out. Yali. Yeah.
I was surprised Marcos was able to get up so close there with the scout, but yeah, even if he had gotten that 1 kill for himself, there wasn't much else he could do. Just completely surrounded. 15-5, and although it seemed like AVEZ had a pretty decent start into that round with the damage going in their favor and with an initial trade even being found, it unfortunately doesn't work out. And now, as I said, they're left on a very similar bite to what they had in the previous. More SMGs. Definitely worth noting. They have 4 MP9s actually in play. I'm not sure what weapon Navra has, but he spent 2400, so there's definitely one there on the ground somewhere. Or he might have the MP9, perhaps it's just not shown for us. Yeah, they actually... Does he have just a pistol? I don't know. This UI confuses me sometimes, man.
People throw it on the ground every day. You don't? You don't throw your weapons on the ground and then pick them up?
Well, if I dropped someone.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. People...
But everyone bought for themselves here.
Yeah, everybody.
You want to get that initial speed boost out of spawn, so you pick it up on the way.
Exactly.
It's like Mario Kart if you hold it at the right time.
Exactly.
Start holding that 2 buys, you get a boost. Hold on your W.
Just keep on going. Oh man.
New mechanic.
I wish. Well, AVEZ also wish they would have 15 instead of 5, but what do you do here? Well, you can pray. 10 rounds in a row is what they need. Double NATO. Ouch. Not only do they take Kyler down, but they also tag Marcos to the point where 1 bullet will finish him off. And AVEZ, not to be a dick about this, but we know where it's headed most likely. And they'll be thrown into the lower bracket, or into the lower best of 3 elimination series, precisely to be exact. Whilst ILLUMINAR seemingly already looking to pick up the upper, or the winners best of 3 series to see if they are the first to progress out of this group. Who will be, of course, fighting them for that spot. In any case, that's it. That's 16-5, confirmed pretty much at this point. I mean, I know I'm a dick when I say it like that, but that's legit how it goes down. And well, that is going to be 16-5 final score. This best of 1 comes to a conclusion relatively fast, almost.